These are the 25 lessons I've learned in my 20s from living life and running a business. And I wanted to share these with you because I really do believe that some of these really hit home and resonate with a lot of you. And I firmly believe that these are going to help a lot of you watching this. And so here we go. Without further ado, the first lesson is my gut feeling is almost always right. What do I mean by that? Well, your gut feeling is the feeling that you feel on the inside when you're about to make a decision and you already have your guts telling you what could be the potential risk or reward by going either way. And you already know kind of like the right answer to it. But most of the time, we just seeking validation from an external source to validate your own gut feeling. Lesson number 2 is that new sales for the company should always be a priority. It doesn't matter what type of business you're in. If you're not prioritizing sales, it's going to come around to bite you in the butt, because new sales for the company is the most important thing out of all. Your lead sources, your sales, you closing deals, making sure that if you have salespeople on your team, their calendars are full, your calendar is full. That is a top priority for any business out there, and that's the lifeblood of the business. So if you don't have that, you don't have anything. Third lesson is there's always a best move you can make on the chessboard. It doesn't matter how bad the situation might be right now in your life. There's always the best possible move that you can move on the chessboard, because life, like Andrew Tate says, is kind of like a chessboard. You're always making moves, and your life is a combination of the moves you made on the board up until now. Because what chess teaches you is that somewhere along the line, you've made the wrong move, and that's why you end up where you are right now. Lesson number 4, been thinking too small, and your environment has contributed to that. Doesn't matter how big you think you're thinking, there's always another level. And so you always have to make sure that you don't say to yourself, I'm thinking big, because there's always a next level. Also, your environment. Pay attention to your surroundings, your immediate circle of influence, your friends. Who are they? Are they winners? Are they bums? What cars are they driving? What business moves are they making? What is their relationship with their spouse like? All of these things have contributed into who you are. And even though you might not believe it and you think, oh, John's a piece of shit, but I'm not. But you're hanging out with John. And so by default, you're rubbing shoulders with John. And sooner or later, you're going to pick up on a lot of the things he thinks about life or he's doing in his life, and that's going to become a part of you. Number 5, things are never as bad as I project them to be in my own mind. There's always something worse, and your mind is such an interesting thing that it'll always try to protect you, and by doing that, you literally project things that aren't even true, and you believe them to be true. But because the mind is such a powerful force, what it does is that it cannot distinguish the difference between reality, what's real, and what is not, what is just a simple projection in your own mind. Things are never as bad as you project them to be. Number 6, the quicker I get up from a fuck up and carry on, the quicker I'll be able to reach my goals. And what that is that you gotta fail, and you gotta fail fast. But the difference between people who lose and the people who win is how much time are you down? How long does it take you to get up and keep carrying on? If it takes you a while, then somebody who's willing to get up right away and continue to push on is always gonna beat you, is always gonna have the upper hand. That is literally the difference between the time frame that it takes you in both ways. If you continue to stay down, it will take you a lot longer to reach your goal. Number 7, whatever it is, good or bad, it will pass. And it's just how life is. We cannot change that. That's part of life. It doesn't matter if you're happy one moment or you're sad one moment, or you're going up or you're going through the roller coaster of life. It will never be the same. You're always moving in some direction. It doesn't matter that you might be in a bad spot in your mind right now, or your finances, or with your spouse. Things always change, and it's just how life is. And if we understand how life actually works, and we understand it on a conscious level, we can go through life not just like a leaf who gets tossed by the wind, but actually as somebody who understands the dynamic of life itself and is willing to operate and goes through life a lot smoother than somebody who doesn't. Number 8, only spend time to create my life when I'm in the most resourceful, state. What I mean by that is if you're trying to visualize, a lot of people talk about visualization and visualizing your goals and manifesting them. First of all, visualizing them in your mind so you can manifest them later on in the physical world. What that is that it is very difficult to feel down and to think about your goals, because when you're in an unresourceful state, you don't think about anything positive, and it's very difficult to start creating new goals when you're in that state. So the best state you could possibly be in to create goals, you got to be, first of all, in a resourceful state after working out, after completing a task, or what have you. But do not try to set new goals when you are in an unresourceful state. I try to do that in the past, and trust me, it doesn't work. Number 9, the best way to get into the resourceful state of mind is when I start practicing gratitude. When I start thinking about my skills, things I possess, my qualities as an individual. That is one of the best ways you can start the positive change into going from a unresourceful state to a resourceful one. Number 10, talking to people and genuinely trying to help them without hidden agenda is one of the best proven ways to get into a resourceful state of mind. And so next time you feel down, talk to somebody, try to help them out in their situation, and see how fast that helps you get in a resourceful state and escape that trap you might be in your own mind. Number 11, get around winners often. It stretches your mind, stretches my mind to think big, to be in a resourceful state, to see new possibilities, to rub shoulders with people that operate in a higher frequency. That's always should be a must. Again, look around, see your surroundings, who you're hanging out with has a direct effect, believe it or not, on your results in life. So that would be lesson number 11. Number 12, when feeling stuck, when it comes to anything, it doesn't matter what it is, hit up my network first. A lot of people tend to believe that there's nobody that can help them when they're feeling stuck. And I'm here to tell you that most often than not, you can get out of the rut that you might be in if you're feeling stuck by just reaching out to the right people in your network. So start looking up your contact list and seeing who can actually help you escape the situation that you're in. Number 13, go abroad as much as possible, because that not only stretches your mind to see new possibilities, to see new cultures, but it also, when you don't feel as inspired and you're feeling stuck where you're at, or you don't like where you're at currently, that helps you get out of your own mind and just be presented with a different environment. It does wonders to your mind. Number 14, read and consume. Doesn't matter if you're not a reader, if you just like to listen to podcasts, just consume new pieces of information every single day, because that gets you out of your own mind. And not only that, but it allows you to learn new things on a daily basis and to gain a new perspective in life and in business. Number 15, whatever happens for a reason. I just cannot see it yet. It's not presented itself to me. I haven't learned the lesson that I wanted to learn, but it is exactly what has had to happen in order for me to progress in life and in business. I just cannot see it yet. And it really is true. If you look back in your own life, in your own experiences, you probably can't name something that wasn't there for you. Everything that ever happened in your own life happened because it had to happen. And that is why you are who you are today. Number 16, if I don't know the answer to something, ask and seek advice from other people. A lot of people are so afraid to ask. I'm like, what's to be afraid of? Just ask. If you don't know the answer to something, ask. And a lot of people are just not into the habit of asking for advice when they're stuck. Now, sometimes you have to pay for that advice, but it doesn't matter. It's worth paying for the advice, because most of the time, not paying for the advice, you could end up in a worse situation if you take it from somebody who's not where you want to be. So that's also very important. Number 17, time is infinitely more valuable than money and is the most precious asset we all have. And so instead of thinking about, hey, I am scared to spend money, which is a replenishable asset, but I'm not scared to waste time with the wrong people, with the wrong circle of influence, doing the wrong things, not enjoying my time on earth while I'm alive. That is the wrong thing to do, because that's the only thing, doesn't matter how rich you get, you cannot get back. Money you can always make back. Time, on the other hand, you cannot. Number 18, never be afraid to pay for advice or your own education. And no, I'm not talking about the traditional route of going to school or college and getting a degree. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about solving a specific problem that you have. Never be afraid to pay for advice, because the time, effort, and energy that you're going to waste along the way trying to figure it out on your own is worth a lot more than the money you would probably have to pay somebody to get an answer to your question. So don't be afraid to pay for advice. Number 19, don't overthink things. Just take action and make changes accordingly along the way. There's no point in just sitting around and not taking action, because taking action is the only thing that makes you progress forward. Thinking alone won't cut it. Number 20, even if I cannot see the full picture yet in my mind of how I want things to be, just take the next step. That's all I gotta do. Just take the next step forward. Things will fall into place with time. Do not wait to get the full entire picture in order to start taking action, because that is a detriment to your success and to achieving your goals. Number 21, don't strive for happiness. Happiness is an illusion. It's a momentary thing. It comes and goes. Strive for progress instead, because in reality, if you think about it, making progress is what makes us happy. And so if you make the progress you want to make, you always tend to be a lot happier than if you're not, which complements the previous lesson that I just talked about. Number 22, my self-confidence and the level of my standard are key to making money. It's in direct reflection. My standards and the way I view myself are in direct reflection with the money that I have and the money that I'm making. It is always going to be that way, because if you believe you're worth more, you're not going to settle for anything less. If you have a dollar amount in your mind, you're not going to settle for anything less. If you ask any millionaire, hey, if you're making $100 million, all of a sudden you ask them, hey, what if you made $1 million next year? They'll probably say, I'll kill myself. And a lot of people have actually done that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that everything has come from the standards that we possess, that we hold true to ourselves. Your self-confidence standards equal the amount of money that you make. Number 23, do more and I'll get more. What does that mean? It means whatever it is that you're doing, a lot of the times, that's how simple of a fix it is. You want to make more sales, figure out what's gotten you the sales that you have now, or just do more and you make more sales. It's just as simple as that. So in life, that's how it works. Newton's law, every action has equal and opposite reaction. You can't escape that. Nobody can. Number 24, operate with a sense of urgency, like the house is on fire. Like, there's no time to lose. A lot of you are operating like, it doesn't matter how old you are. It could be 19, could be 29, could be 39, 49, 59. We have a finite amount of time. And a lot of people are acting like they're going to live forever. And that's just not the case. It just doesn't feel like our life is going to end at some point, but it will. And that's the reality of it. And so you got to employ that sense of urgency into your life and not just go with the flow, because that's a recipe for failure and for an unfulfilled life. And number 25, the last one, is dig deeper into experiences from the past and ask yourself this question: what else could I learn from that experience? Because let's say you ended up in a bad spot because of your own decision making. Always try to reflect and go back and see, hey, I've learned my lesson, but can I learn something else? The reality is that the quicker you get to learn from the things that you fucked up on, the quicker you'll be able to get ahead. And so always try to dig deeper and ask yourself, can I learn something else from that experience that happened, good or bad? So that will be the 25 lessons. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.